Welcome to a Fresh Perspective podcast, catering to the latest in ingredient trends, consumer insights, and food news. Brought to you by Corbion.
Welcome to a Fresh Perspective podcast, a podcast where we talk about everything food. I'm here today with Amber Beckett, a senior business development manager at Corbion. And are you also Savory and Global Product Manager for preservation? Am I reading that right?
Yeah, it's a hybrid role where I do global product management for our antioxidant products, as well as savory business development within North America.
That sounds like a lot of work. Wow.
It's a lot of work, but also a lot of fun.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. I think that my job is really fun too. Mine's kind of a hybrid role too. So I feel you on that. So tell me a little bit about antioxidants. That is the title of today's podcast. It is the thing we're talking about. It makes me want to sing the parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme song.
Oh, please do.
I don't think I know any more words actually other than that, but I know we're here today to talk about rosemary as an antioxidant. Tell me a little bit about how that works, why people want it, and so on.
Yeah, so if you think about Corbion historically, we've always offered antimicrobials for food. So we can prevent food from spoiling due to lactic acid bacteria, other types of bacteria that can just make food taste kind of off. We can also protect from food safety concerns like listeria with a lot of our buffered vinegars, but that's actually only half of the arm for why food might get thrown away or wasted. The other half is actually as it ages, the fatty acids in it can actually oxidize. And when they oxidize, they develop into these aldehydes and other volatile compounds that actually confer a lot of off notes. If you've ever tasted food and it tastes like cardboardy, painty, a little bit like fresh cut grass, those are all indications that the food has gone rancid. A solution to that is to add in antioxidants. So antioxidants can actually delay that oxidation process and extend the shelf life of these foods out.
So making it more sustainable, really, right? Because part of being sustainable is less food waste.
Yeah, so Corbion has a lot of commitments around the area of the sustainability goals. So Sustainable Development Goal 12 from the UN is really connected to our natural preservation portfolio. We think that our items can really help extend the shelf life of food, prevent them from being thrown away. But since it's still natural, it's still clean label, consumers will accept it.
Yeah, so let's talk about the clean label aspect of it. I think that's pretty amazing that you can preserve meat with rosemary, which is something that you put on meat to roast it anyway.
Yeah, so rosemary has obviously been used for a very long time as a spice. You know, it's got a very nice flavor. It's very distinct, but you can also process it in another way that helps remove some of these spice notes. And there's an active in it called carnosic acid. This is a very powerful natural antioxidant. It's evolved over thousands of years to help rosemary survive in the kind of harsh desert conditions it grows in. So for example, it grows naturally in the Moroccan desert. And to grow there, you need to have a lot of natural defense mechanisms, one of which is perpetuated by this carnosic acid. And we process it in such a way that really enriches the carnosic acid content so that when you add it to food, the food is protected, but you don't get much of that spice and flavor note.
And it eliminates all of those other notes that let you know that the food's going rancid as well, too, right? So
it delays oxidation.
Yeah. It delays oxidation, which is what makes the meat turn a different color, too, right?
Yes, you have like oxidation, photooxidation, flavor oxidation, and a lot of these have unwanted impacts. So the flavor oxidation would result in these unwanted flavor notes that people wouldn't consume. As a result of photooxidation, light-induced oxidation, a lot of meat can lose that bright red color, for example, in the case of fresh ground beef.
Sure.
And so, natural antioxidants are a great way to preserve the color life of fresh ground beef.
Right, which will turn you away from it. Even if you know that, in my fridge, it'll turn this color and I'll still make it and eat it and it's fine. But it is kind of
that color life is the number one purchasing driver for consumers. So when you pick up meat in the deli case, if it's faded, if it's gray, people aren't going to purchase it.
And then it gets thrown out and you've got waste.
Yes.
So why is ingredient transparency important for antioxidants and their use in product formulations? Like, why is the transparency part so important?
Yeah, so I think, obviously the clean label movement has been around for a while, but I think we're becoming increasingly stringent. So people are looking now even more towards clear label. So it's this idea that maybe you've got this natural rosemary antioxidant, But if you use a synthetic carrier or emulsifier, it kind of cheapens it a little bit. Now, there's still great carriers and emulsifiers out there, and we offer them. But actually, Corbion has a commitment to, in all of our off-the-shelf products, we only use natural carriers, natural emulsifiers. So as an example, when you have a rosemary extract, a lot of times you need to dilute it out so that you're not adding such a small amount to the final product that it doesn't mix well. We would use something like a sea salt. So very natural, very clean, and very clear label as well.
Is there any hesitancy in using a plant-derived antioxidant solution, if you compare it to a synthetic? I mean, I would think that it would be the opposite, right? Like, bring me the plant stuff and take away the synthetic stuff. But I also know that, I think about there might be some things that are always the same in synthetics and some things that could change a little bit in plant. So I don't know, help me with that one.
That's a very intuitive question. Plant extracts can be enormously complex because you have this natural variation in active content, in other compounds and waxes that need to be removed. And so you really do need to have a very deep level of technical expertise to ensure you have a consistent extraction process and then a nice blended product to ensure even consistent flavor that's also decolorized, deodorized to very high standards. The synthetic antioxidants are quite easy to use, I would say, at this point. They've been around for a long period of time. The cost and use is fairly low. But as consumers demand more and more clean and clear label, the technical expertise required to come in and replace those synthetics with a natural plant extract is fairly high. And Corbion has made a lot of commitments in this area by stocking out a lab, building the technical expertise, and really making sure we've got solutions for our customers' specific products.
I think that's incredible that we're making, like, I love being part of Corbion and I love hearing these stories. I love hearing the stories of, us making real investments in the future of the planet, of the people. And I just think they're really inspirational.
Yeah, actually, we're really proud of our sourcing of rosemary. It grows wild in Morocco, and we've partnered with a local company that is working to do local extraction. So it's retaining more of the economic value of the plant in the region where it is naturally growing, and kind of contributing to that local economy. And the secondary benefit is a lot of companies will actually ship the rosemary leaves overseas for extraction. The leaves have about 2.5% carnosic acid, but what we do is extract it locally in Morocco and then ship the more concentrated product. So you're getting, say, a 15 times reduction in the amount of shipping that is required. So really tying into this sustainable, transparent, authentic offering.
Okay, that's a great story. So rather than shipping these not huge leaves, but when you're shipping a lot of it, rather than shipping these huge leaves, we're taking out that 2.5% and shipping that instead, reducing shipping and cost and labor and all of that to get it to where it needs to be so that we can further process it.
Yeah, so we try to reduce the carbon footprint associated with that shipments, but it also allows us to build significant safety stock because we have a very concentrated raw material to ensure that our customers never have these disruptions that result from kind of the naturally complex supply chain that a lot of plant extracts do have.
Okay, so yeah, that's an incredible story. I love the stories that come behind our products. I wish we had to talk about them more. So thanks for sharing that one. And if you have any more to share, come back on the show and we'll talk about more of them.
Absolutely.
So one more question, kind of while we're on this topic. Outside of meat and bakery, are there other categories or industries that can benefit from using antioxidants?
Yeah, I would say there's a couple. With the war in Ukraine, we had a lot of disruptions to the global commodity oil market, as well as the high oleic oil market. So high oleic oils are characterized by increased levels of oxidative stability relative to the commodity level counterparts. A lot of that market was dominated by high oleic sunflower oil. And obviously that was extremely short supplied after those types of disruptions. And a lot of customers started trading down to high oleic soybean oil, which then experienced shortages, et cetera, et cetera. So one need is to take a commodity oil like canola, soybean, sunflower, and dose in natural antioxidants to match that high oleic oil oxidative stability so that you can swap out a high oleic oil with a commodity oil plus antioxidants in a customer formulation without compromising the label and without compromising the efficacy. And so Corbion has done some work in that area. And we're very, well equipped to handle those types of technical challenges for our customers. So that's one. I would say another one that we've seen a lot of requests for is actually kind of this feed ingredient category. So a lot of, say, high omega-3 fish oils, algae oils, those have a lot of unstable fatty acids that require stabilization. And if you'd like to sell into certain markets like Europe, you generally don't use ethoxyquin and other synthetics. So we've got some very nice blends of rosemary and tocopherol that really increase that natural oil stability and increase the yield and ensure we preserve that really valuable fatty acid profile all the way out to the end use.
So it sounds like there's lots of usages for this. Like, that's really exciting.
Yeah, we love it. It's a very complex technical field that we can play in while still keeping labels very clean and really promoting Corbion's natural portfolio.
It's like, what worlds have we not explored, right? It's so exciting. I mean, and we're talking about something that my great grandmother cooked with rosemary, like such a well-known staple in everyone's kitchen. And yeah, anyway, now I want to talk about people. We're hearing, and I know this because I'm in marketing, but we're hearing that millennials are really taking over buying power right now. And I think it's funny because a woman my age, I think of millennials as the younger generation, but millennials they have children and they go to the grocery store and they're taking over some buying power right now. So, how important is clean label to millennials? Where do they fall on this?
Yeah, it's a good question, obviously, as we look to that transition in buying power among the generations. It's extremely important to millennials to have clean label. So based on some of our proprietary research, we found that over 67% of millennials and even around 61% of Generation Z says that clean label is extremely important for meat products. So we do see that it's important. Yeah. It's a trend that I think is going to continue to grow in importance, even as newer generations kind of shift and take over the major purchasing decisions of the house.
Did we do any research about how millennials felt about using rosemary as a preservative in particular?
Yeah, actually, this generation has the highest acceptability for using rosemary in meat products. Our survey found that 71% of millennials found it very acceptable to use something like a rosemary to extend the shelf life of a meat product.
Nice. I mean, that's my natural next question is like, okay, so you're down for clean label. What do you think about rosemary?
Yeah.
So we only have time for one more question. This kind of flew past. Let's talk about, sustainability in meat products. How do those fall into, how millennials see food and this rosemary antioxidants segment?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because, we think about sustainability claims, we think about environmental claims. We found kind of a nuanced difference among the generations between these two categories of claims, with one kind of falling under the other. So sustainability claims in meat products are definitely most prioritized by millennials. However, when you compare that to the older generations, such as Gen X and boomers, they tend to prioritize these types of environmental claims. So environmental claims could be considered a bit of a segment of sustainability. So sustainability overall, very prioritized by millennials. However, a segment of that environmental claims being more important to Gen X and boomers. So a bit of nuance, but I would say it's still very important to all of the major purchasers to have sustainability, environmental, et cetera, claims on products.
Excellent. Man, thank you so much. And thank you so much for being here today, Amber. I always love having you on the show.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure.
Yeah. And we'll have you back soon. This has been great.
Yeah, thank you.
Till next time, preserve what matters.
Thank you for listening to a Fresh Perspective podcast brought to you by Corbion. Until next time, preserve what matters.